Hi, you're on to Viva's Canadian Journey. Thank you so much for watching. If you're yet to subscribe, please don't forget to subscribe. It's very easy to do. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. This gives you notifications anytime I have a new video. Today, I'm going to be talking about something very key, and I'm going to be sharing my experience and how I got 3 jobs in my first 2 months in Nova Scotia. So let's get started. A lot of people have asked me to, help them with their job search here in Canada. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my experience using my real life examples in hope that you can, get some key points from this, and that it will help you in your job search as well. So if you've been following me, you'll probably know by now that my family and we got to Canada in September 2019. September 24th to be precise. There are some dates that you cannot just forget. And we stayed in an Airbnb for a week. During the daytime, we were doing the usual, running around, getting a health card, looking for daycare for our daughter. By the time we got back at night, in the evening, my husband and I were on our laptops, and it was job hunting, job searching, sending resumes and cover letters. And we did that for about 2 weeks straight, and nothing was coming in. In fact, we're like is it Peter and John that were fishing all night and nothing, caught nothing until Jesus came and helped their situation. So something like that. And then a friend of mine who resides here in Nova Scotia, she's been here for a while, she contacted me, and I was complaining. I said, listen, nothing is happening. So she asked me if I had attended some sessions at the immigrant settlements services, or the immigrant settlement providers. There's quite a few, and the truth about this is that every province has a couple of immigrant settlement organizations. They are here to help immigrants to settle in to the different provinces. And I said, I only attended a class or two. And she said, listen, call them, book sessions. This will really help you with your job search. So that's what I did. The one I attended in Nova Scotia is called ISANS. I think it stands for Immigration Services of Nova Scotia, something like that. But there's quite a couple. There's YMCA, and other provinces have their own as well. You need to check. So during one of my sessions, I was assigned an employment consultant. And this is where, my story changed, so to say. And this was the game changer. During my first session with the employment consultant, we had a one-on-one sit down, and she just asked me my career aspirations, my career, just to go through my resume, which is what I did. In these sessions, you're advised to be very honest and open with the employment consultants. The employment consultants are not here to give you jobs. They're here to guide you. Okay. And so we did that, and we went through my resume. So it was going through my resume. She asked me a few questions. She asked me how many resumes I had. I said I only have 1 resume. She said, no, Habiba, you need to have a couple. You need to tailor each resume and cover letter to an application, to a job application. And I said, yes, but I tailor my cover letter. She said, no, you also need to tailor your resume. And she gave me a very good example that has helped me. Okay. So for instance, if you see a job advert and it says, part of the requirement says they're looking for someone who has advanced skills in Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Okay, that's one of the main criteria for the jobs. However, your resume just has in bullet points proficient in MS Office. Yes, you've kind of, answered the question, but you haven't really gone in detail. So she said each resume should be tailor-made for any particular job. Okay, so what you're supposed to do in that instance is take your resume. You're not lying, you're not exaggerating, you're just breaking it down to cater for a particular job application. So since the application says they're looking for someone who is, who has advanced skills in Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, you put it there. Don't just say proficient in MS Office. Say advanced, skill or advanced level in MS Office. You break it down. Excel, Word, so kind of you tailor make it to a particular application. So that was something that really resonated with me. Okay, so don't just send a generic resume. Another thing that really helped me was she asked me what sort of jobs I was applying for. So I told her, I was surprised she was asking me that, but I said I'm applying for communications jobs. I told her that's my field, that's where my strengths are. So anytime I see a job that has communications in front of it, communication specialist, communications officer, I'll just apply. And she says, well, that's good, Habiba, but you're really limiting yourself here. And she explained, she said, in Canada, experience is really key. So you might have experience in something as a communications person that you do have experience in it, but you're kind of limiting yourself. She said I should broaden my horizon when it comes to the job search. So she showed me, this one-on-one sessions are really practical. So what she did was, on her laptop really quick, she Googled jobs available in Dartmouth, because that's where we stay. And hundreds of jobs came out. And she said, oh, let's just click one. So she clicked on the first one she saw, and the job title was financial representative. She said, let's look at this. Before she could even go any further, I just cut her off. I said, first of all, I don't have any background in finance. I'm not a math person. I just started, talking. I said, I'm not a math person. I don't like finance. I don't like numbers, and I don't have. And she's like, calm down. Let's just go through the job requirements. So we started going through the job requirements. One of the main requirements was they were looking for someone who can communicate in English verbally, someone who is very articulate. She said, don't you tick that box? I said, yes. Second requirement, they're looking for someone who is very confident. So someone who's confident on the phone or face to face with a client, who can do PowerPoint presentation, who can sell a product. She said, it seems that you can do that. Another requirement, they're looking for someone who's worked in a professional environment, who has years of experience in a professional background, and those kind of skills. And by the time we had gone through the whole requirements, she said, can't you do this? I said, yes, I do have experience in that. And then under the job requirement, they said training will be given. And she said, you see, so all the finance parts they're talking about, training will be given. So basically, what this made me realize was that I had been limiting myself in my job search. While I was there again, we went through another, job title just out of the blue. This was, I think the title was Client Relations Officer or something. She said, let's go through this. We went through this, and, it was something I could also do that I had experience in. So she said, listen, don't just limit yourself to communication jobs. And I'm going to tell you the same thing. What she kept telling me was that you're new in Canada. What you want to do is that you want to get your foot in the door. You might not automatically get your dream job immediately. I've said this before. But get the Canadian work experience. Get your foot in the door, as long as it's a job that you have experience in. And majority of jobs advertised are like that. I mean, obviously, there'll be specific jobs that if you don't have the skill and qualification, you can't go into them. But the moral of the story is that you should widen your horizon, your job search. Just because you're a communications person, that doesn't mean you should just be looking for communication and PR jobs. Okay, so that was the moral of the story, and that really helped me. The third thing that really helped was working on my cover letter. Yes, we all know that cover letters are very important. We know that, and she told me this. She said, for every job you are applying for, back it up with a cover letter. Yes, send your resume, but make sure you send a cover letter. She says a cover letter is just that extra zazazu. And she said a lot of recruiters here in Canada go and they look at the extra, the cover letter. Because a lot of resumes are generic. So the cover letter is what actually speaks of your experience in relation to that job. And she said a cover letter is something that you are not only telling the employer that I have experience and skill in this your job, to do this job you're advertising, but you're also advertising yourself. So in the cover letter, you have to go an extra mile. So let me give you an example using my NOC and what has helped me in the past. So for instance, this is an example. I see a job advert and it says one of the requirements that it's looking for someone who has at least 3 years of work experience in proofreading or copy editing, someone who can write stories for or write articles for brochures and leaflets, and who has written success stories. Okay, so that's one of the criteria. So I start my cover letter. Obviously I address it in the proper way. I can put a first paragraph. It can be generic. I can say something like, I'm pleased to, or I'm excited to apply for the role of communications assistant with ABC organization. My skill set and qualification fit this role, and I believe I'll be an asset. So generic, that's fine. But then I need to answer the question. I need to make sure I meet the requirements. So I go and I say something in the lines of, with over 5 years of work experience as a communications person for XYZ organization. I say something small about the organization. One of my main duties and responsibility was writing success stories for brochures, for the internet or for Facebook or something like that. And my success stories were used to get more funding for the organization. So you see, I've answered the question. They were looking for somebody with more than 3 years experience. I've stated I have more than 5 years work experience. Don't lie, because they'll find out, but I've answered the question. They were looking for somebody that can write stories. I told them I could write stories. I mentioned the organization I worked with in the past. This is very important. This states that yes, I've done the work. And make sure you put a legitimate organization that you worked with, because an intelligent recruiter, and most recruiters, will go and research that organization. Okay, and I not only stated that I am good with success stories or have written stories in the past, but I also sold myself that my success stories were used to get funding. So you see, that's the extra Zaza Zoom I've done. So I have answered, I've made sure that I've answered that I have met the requirements, but I also put an extra, which is what cover letters do. Honestly, that session I had with her was very informative, and it helped me. I went back home and I put this into practice. And another thing that I got from that session with that employment coordinator is that it's not about the amount of applications you send in a day, because what I was doing was I was giving myself a target of about 10 applications a day. She laughed so hard. She said that is unrealistic, because if you're doing 10, that means you're not putting in enough effort with the application. She said give yourself a target of 2 applications a day. That way you do justice to the resume, you do justice to the cover letter. Research the organization, make sure you are answering the questions they're asking for, make sure you meet the requirements. Don't lie, don't exaggerate, but if you put in enough effort and work, you'll be spending 90 minutes, 2 hours on one application, and that is good. It is not about the amount of applications we send, but it's about the quality. She said 1 quality resume and cover letter is better than 10 that you just rush, and that really helped me. I took that on board. I went home, and honestly, the story changed by God's grace. Now I started making applications, and I was actually getting email responses. Oh, we're looking at your CV, we're looking at your application, we'll get back to you. And in a span of 6 to 8 weeks, I had 3 job offers on my table. I had attended about 7 interviews. I didn't get some, but I had gotten 3 job offers on my table, and that was a dilemma right then, but it was a good dilemma. So these things really helped me, and I hope you've taken some things on board. And good luck with your job application in Canada. I wish you the very best, and until next time, do take care.
Hi, my name is Habiba.